I pleaded with him to keep going. A genuine tale of betrayal from the outside, my suburban existence appeared flawless, a facade of tranquility masking deeper yearnings. It was a life that evoked strong feelings in the hearts of others. We resided in a stunning, expansive home, surrounded by a meticulously cared-for lawn and a shimmering pool that glistened under the gentle embrace of the sun. My husband, James, was a dedicated and accomplished man, while our son, Daniel, stood on the brink of graduation, ready to step into a new chapter at just 20 years old. To the outside world, we appeared as the embodiment of joy. We were a family that others aspired to emulate. However, within the walls of that house, a turbulent reality lurked, distant from the facade of perfection. James was often consumed by his work, and when he finally returned home, I felt invisible, as if I were a mere shadow in his life. His gaze was lost in the glow of his phone or the flickering screen, the once vibrant connection between us now a distant memory, overshadowed by an emotional distance. The man who once felt comforting now seems a distant figure, his gaze rarely gracing my presence. As the days passed, the quietness enveloped us, heavy and suffocating, leaving me to grapple with a sense of invisibility within the confines of my marriage. Isolated in a world that was meant to overflow with passion, on a Saturday afternoon in the tender embrace of early summer, the air crackled with the promise of transformation. Daniel had welcomed his closest companion to join him for a swim, a simple invitation that held the weight of unexpressed emotions beneath the surface. Ethan. He had been lingering in my thoughts for months, his presence a tantalizing blend of courtesy and reverence. Until that fateful day, he was just an ordinary boy in my eyes. As I stood in the kitchen, the warm water cascading over the dishes, my gaze drifted to the sliding glass doors that opened to our backyard, a moment of quiet reflection stirring within me, and there he stood, a figure cloaked in the shadows of longing. Ethan lingered at the pool's edge, his skin shimmering in the bright midday sun, as beads of water cascaded down his perfectly smooth, deep-hued complexion. Every sinew was taut and alive, carrying a strong presence with each graceful motion. He plunged into the depths with an ease that seemed almost otherworldly, emerging moments later, a radiant smile illuminating his face, showcasing a flawless set of white teeth. In that fleeting instant, my gaze was captivated, unable to break free. Not only was his body and smile attractive, but he also had a deep allure. The way he carried himself was truly remarkable. He exuded an unwavering allure. He possessed an effortless charm. Such an atmosphere was in stark contrast to James's detached and fatigued aura. An unfamiliar warmth awoke within me, a feeling long buried and forgotten. I struggled to focus on the dishes before me, yet my hands quivered ever so slightly, and my thoughts incessantly drifted back to Ethan. In the weeks that followed, Ethan found himself at our house with increasing frequency. In the dim light of the garage, he and Daniel shared moments that felt electric, their laughter echoing as they pushed each other in workouts. Late-night gaming sessions blurred the lines of reality, while sun-drenched afternoons by the pool held a sense of unspoken connection, a warmth that lingered just beneath the surface. Every moment Ethan was close, my senses ignited with an intense awareness of his presence. Each fleeting gaze is significant. Each utterance, each moment is rich, inviting voice echoed within the walls. It stirred something profound and hidden inside me. One fateful afternoon, Daniel dashed to the store, leaving Ethan in a whirlwind of unspoken feelings. The aroma of dinner filled the kitchen as he stepped inside, and in that moment, everything shifted. "Mrs. Carter, would it be all right if I took a moment to get some water?" he inquired, his voice enveloped me, a gentle voice that sent a feeling of unease. "Absolutely, Ethan," I responded, trying to keep my voice light and untroubled. "And please, refer to me as Sarah." His smile was effortless and captivating, sending a rush of warmth through me that left my heart racing.
"Thank you, Sarah."
As he reached for a glass, our fingers grazed against each other, igniting a spark that sent a feeling of unease. It was a fleeting moment, filled with emotions that stirred something deep within.
Transitory.
Yet, It ignited an intense spark within me. I stood still, caught in a moment that felt both exhilarating and terrifying. His words lingered, thick with unspoken longing. My breath hitched. Deep down, I understood that turning away was the right choice. Whisper the words that will bring the conversation to a close. Yet, I held back, that I felt utterly paralyzed. Compelled by an irresistible pull, I find myself captivated by his presence. Just as I was about to find my voice, Daniel stepped through the door. The moment shattered into fragments of longing. Ethan straightened, a familiar smile creeping back onto his face, hinting at unspoken feelings beneath the surface. "Thank you for the lovely dinner, Mrs. Carter," he murmured, before departing with Daniel, a noticeable unease in the air. Yet, his words hung in the air, echoing with an intensity that stirred something deep within. And thus, the flame he had sparked within me continued to burn. The days that ensued melted into one another, secretive looks exchanged in the shadows. Ephemeral caresses. Our hands moved swiftly in the kitchen, entwined in a moment we couldn't bear to escape. As we brushed past each other in the hallway, a spark ignited, sending delightful tremors coursing through me. I found myself on the brink of something both exciting and risky, and the harder I fought against it, the deeper my longing for him became. On a still afternoon, Daniel found himself wandering through the mundane tasks of the day. Ethan lingered in the shadows, drawn by an unspoken longing that stirred within him. As I lingered on the patio, the coolness of iced tea in my hand, he appeared, igniting a spark that stirred something deep within me. "Do you mind if I join you?" he inquired, his voice laced with a hint of longing. "Absolutely not," I responded. For a moment, we lingered in quietude, the air thick with unspoken longing. The sweet melody of birds mingled with a faint echo of distant traffic, creating an atmosphere thick with unspoken tension between us. In that moment, his voice broke the silence, stirring something deep within. "Your presence feels transformed these days." I asked, "Everything all right?" My heart wavered. There's an overwhelming tide of thoughts swirling within me. "If there's anything I can offer, please let me know." His voice faded into silence, yet the unspoken meaning lingered in the air, heavy with longing. And as my gaze lingered on him, truly taking him in, a profound change stirred within me. It had transformed into something deeper, something that stirred the soul in ways previously unimagined. It was an ache of the heart. It was a yearning to awaken the depths of passion once more. The night it unfolded felt destined, a moment charged with unspoken longing. James and Daniel found themselves at a baseball game in the city, where the air was thick with unspoken feelings and lingering glances. The silence of the house was almost palpable, wrapping around me like a shroud. It was the kind of stillness that encouraged your mind to delve into the depths of longing and unspoken yearnings. Ethan lingered in the shadows, insisting that the thrill of baseball held no allure for him. I had never dared to question it. A flicker of relief coursed through me, a part of me trembled with fear. As I lounged on the couch, my mind drifting from the pages of the book in my hands, Ethan emerged in the doorway, a striking figure framed by the soft glow of the dim hallway light. "Do you mind if I join you?" he inquired, a hint of longing in his voice. "Indeed," I murmured softly. He lingered next to me, a presence that stirred something deep within. They were deeply intertwined, a connection that defies all boundaries. The atmosphere surrounding us shimmered with unspoken longing. "Your unease is palpable," he murmured gently. "I'm okay. I deceived myself." He reached out, his fingers brushing against mine as he took the book from my hands, setting it aside with a lingering intensity. "Sarah, we can be open and genuine with each other." The way he uttered my name, devoid of any pretense, ignited a thrill that coursed through me. I turned to face him, my defenses crumbling beneath the intensity of his stare. "I cannot," I murmured softly. "You can," he responded, with unwavering confidence. "I can sense that you share this longing as well." And in that fleeting instant, my thoughts faded away. I let go of my fears. I drew closer. He responded, our connection igniting a spark that felt both thrilling and dangerous. The moment our lips touched, It was as if a torrent of desire erupted. Weeks of hidden longing surged within us, overwhelming all else. His hands, powerful yet tender, cradled my face, drawing me nearer with a heightened urgency. As I surrendered to his presence, the world around me faded, leaving only the intoxicating sensations he ignited within me. We transitioned from the couch to the sanctuary of my bedroom, a space filled with unspoken longing, the familiar setting countless nights of solitude past, filled with the aching question of whether James still saw me at all. Yet, currently, there was someone who understood. I quickly withdrew my hand, hoping he hadn't noticed the way my breath was caught in my throat. "Apologies for that," he murmured with a hint of warmth. "It's all right," I whispered, a flush creeping across my face. Once he exited the room, I lingered in that space, pressed against a counter, my heart racing with a tumult of feelings. What was unfolding within me? In the midst of my life, bound by vows and expectations, I found myself navigating the complexities of desire. Yet here I stood, cheeks flushed with a youthful fervor for someone so much younger than me. As the night deepened and silence enveloped the world, I found myself alone by the shimmering pool, lost in thought. The moonlight danced upon the water, each gentle ripple reflecting the turmoil of longing that stirred within my soul. I attempted to reassure myself that it was nothing more than a fleeting infatuation, a whimsical fancy that would eventually dissolve into the past. Yet, beneath the surface, a part of me understood the truth. There was an undeniable connection that stirred deep within us. There was a truth that lingered in the shadows, palpable yet unacknowledged. And it filled me with a haunting fear. I vowed to bury those emotions deep within me. I was a partner bound by vows. She is a woman who embodies nurturing love. I carried the weight of a family that needed my shield. Yet, as I pledged my commitment, a soft murmur lingered in the shadows of my thoughts, questioning, what if? I struggled to resist the magnetic attraction I felt for Ethan. I concealed it beneath the monotony of everyday existence, yet he rendered it utterly unattainable. His essence enveloped every inch of our sanctuary. His laughter resonated, a memorable sound that danced through the walls, stirring something deep within. His presence hung in the atmosphere, a haunting reminder that refused to fade even after he had departed. A week after that fateful night by the pool, everything shifted dramatically. The summer sun cast a warm glow on Daniel and Ethan's carefree laughter as they lost themselves in the rhythm of the game. Discarding their shirts, I pulled back the living room window, allowing a refreshing breeze to fill the room. Ethan's light-hearted exchanges danced around me, irresistibly drawing my gaze to him. His body flowed with an intoxicating elegance. Daniel dashed inside. A sense of longing enveloped Ethan, who remained on the porch, clutching the bottle of water as if it were a lifeline in the stillness of the moment. He noticed my gaze lingering, a silent acknowledgement of something unspoken between us. His smile held a secret, a spark of something unspoken that lingered in the air, igniting a longing that was both thrilling and dangerous. It was a smile that held secrets, a spark of something deeper, something that whispered of longing and unspoken connections. It was an awakening. It felt as though he could peer into the depths of my soul. My heart pounded fiercely, and I swiftly averted my gaze, feigning concentration on the laundry cradled in my hands. "What a beautiful day it is, don't you think?" Ethan's voice sent a shiver down my spine. He lingered just beyond the window, his presence a tantalizing whisper against the frame, exuding an air of effortless allure. "Indeed, it is," I responded, my voice trembling with unspoken longing. "Perhaps you might find it invigorating to step outside more often, Mrs. Carter." "Embrace the warmth," he urged. His tone danced lightly, yet beneath it lay an unspoken weight, a hidden depth that eluded my grasp. "I'm okay right here, but thank you," I said, masking my true feelings with a smile before I turned away once more. Yet, his words lingered in my mind. It wasn't merely his words, but the way he expressed them. He embraced the thrill of the unknown. That evening, as I tidied up after dinner, Ethan re-entered the kitchen, stirring something deep within me. "Do you require assistance?" he inquired, his tone hushed and intimate. No, I've got it, I murmured, my eyes drifting away from his intense stare. Yet he stayed. He leaned against the counter, his gaze piercing through me, igniting a fire beneath my skin. You put in so much effort, he murmured softly. I lingered, a plate suspended in my grasp. It had been ages since anyone had spoken to me in such a way. I simply let it slip from my lips, accompanied by a subtle shrug, as if the weight of my truth was too delicate to bear openly. Perhaps it's time for someone to nurture your heart for once. As dawn approached, a heavy sense of longing intertwined with guilt, wrapping around the heart like an uninvited guest. I found myself next to Ethan, gazing at the ceiling, my thoughts swirling in a tempest of longing. It feels like a dream I shouldn't revisit, I whispered softly. Yet, as the words escaped my lips, a part of me remained unconvinced. I doubt your sincerity, Ethan responded with a composed demeanor. His fingers grazed my skin as he tucked a loose strand of hair behind my ear. Your feelings are valid, Sarah. His words wrapped around my aching heart like a gentle embrace, yet the guilt lingered, a shadow that refused to fade. In the shadows of our lives, we nurtured our clandestine connection, savoring each stolen moment that unfolded in the weeks that followed, grasping fleeting seconds in the shadows when Daniel was away and James was lost in his late-night duties. The exhilaration of it all deepened the experience. Yet, it also filled me with an unsettling sense of unease. James' discovery of Ethan's hoodie casually resting over a chair caused the first rift in their world and ignited a storm of emotions within him. Did Ethan leave those feelings behind? He wondered, a flicker of longing igniting within him. Indeed, I replied in a rush. After dinner, James's eyebrow arched, a silent invitation lingering in the air, heavy with unspoken words. Yet, I found myself deeply unsettled. How much longer can we hide the truth before the world sees what we've become? The urgency of the revelation surprised me. The sun bathed the world in a gentle warmth, wrapping everything in a tender embrace on that fateful Sunday afternoon. In the secluded embrace of the backyard, Daniel and Ethan shared laughter that danced on the edge of something unspoken, a moment charged with an electric thrill that hinted at deeper feelings beneath the surface. James wandered through the flickering images on the screen, each one stirring a longing deep within him, and I hid the emotions within and arranged the table for dinner. Yet everything felt profoundly wrong. I had ventured into a realm where the boundaries blurred, forever altering my path. The burden of my hidden truth felt like an unbearable weight, suffocating my very soul. That evening, James ventured into the night, drawn by the allure of a call that stirred something deep within him. Daniel was upstairs, lost in the warmth of the shower, the water cascading over him like a gentle embrace after their swim. And the quiet solitude of the kitchen. It was just Ethan and me, a moment suspended in time. The air was filled with quiet emotions. I've reached my limit, I softly whispered. He moved in, the air thick with unspoken longing. Your words can't possibly reflect your true feelings. I do, I urged, though my voice quivered with unspoken longing. This situation feels inappropriate, Ethan. It must come to an end. Just as he was about to respond, the back door swung open, interrupting the moment with an unexpected intrusion. James stepped through the doorway, a rush of unspoken feelings swirling around him. With an unsaid tension, his eyes shifted back and forth between Ethan and me. And then they focused. What is happening in this moment? He inquired, a hint of longing in his voice. In an instant, the delicate equilibrium I had painstakingly maintained started to unravel.